So we are live, and I want to say welcome and Sláinte. This is episode 6. We have Gareth Irvine, founder of Copeland Distillery, and it's all going to be about Copeland Distillery tonight. It's a bit of chat. Obviously, we want to mention it's also Irish Whiskey Day, which some people have taken to heart. I've known people drinking. I was on a call this morning in Australia. They've been drinking all night, waiting up with Irish whiskey. So, listen, I've got some distillery product. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit in my glass because I'm going to drink throughout this conversation. What should I start with? Because I've got a blend here. I've got some double distilled malt, peated, or indeed another one. What should I go for?
You have a few. Welcome everyone.
Go with the blend. Hello.
Well, we go with the blend.
Go with the blend.
Go with the blend.
Let's start with a blend.
I have all four as well. Here, Will has thankfully left it for me here, so
good.
All nicely numbered. So
excellent. Oh, there's a question for you already. John's asking, are the mini casks for sale? They look great. Yes, they are. They're in sale down at the distillery. And we will come on to that, there's no doubt.
Yeah, there will be. I mean, they're going online for us in the next few while. We're trialing them first before we put them on sale to make sure that they work, but one that they work well. So
good. Listen, Gareth, the guests we've had on so far, I mean, this little series is just to say thank you. So it's to say thank you for people who have been involved in the Whiskey Week, and you've been involved for 2 years running already. And it's it's for me just to say thanks for that. And obviously it's great to support local distilleries, but it's actually really nice for the local distilleries to support what's going on with the festival. So thank you for that. And tonight it's literally you can talk about whatever you want. I will just quickly touch on the blend because I was given this today, and I just want to get your thoughts on this. So this is an 80% grain based blend with 20% malt, but 19% of that malt is double distilled. 1% of it is sherry cask finishing. Yes,
it is. That's all.
But that 80% grain content comes from virgin recharred casks.
It does. So, I mean, we're not really great at keeping secrets down here. So, we've been working on releasing a blend for a while. We didn't want to just do it for the sake of doing it. We wanted to do it right. So we've been working with the guys down at GND, Brian and the team down there that a lot of people will know. I wanted to create a blend that was easy to drink. We wanted people to buy it and drink it. We didn't want people to buy it and keep it. And we want our first expression or our thoughts on a first expression to be a great drinker. I mean, you're the first person outside the distillery to try it. So what's your thoughts? Let's hope it goes well.
Yeah, no. Oh my, well, it is good. And what I was going to say is it's actually really, really, really easy to drink. Like I just went obviously for a mouthful, and then I will go for more. So it's very, very simple.
No, it is. I mean, we didn't want to go.
It's very creamy.
It is. Yeah, no, it's very creamy. I mean, we didn't want to.
Really
we didn't want to go out there too much and complicate it with all these different finishes and things like that. And we just wanted to get a lovely, creamy, easy to drink blend that people will enjoy. Neat. They can enjoy as a mixer as well. Dare I say it? But we want people to drink it, and that's what we tried to create, and that's definitely what we've done.
I think blends are designed, not specifically just to pick up and drink. But let's be honest, the greatest blends are the blends that people put in a glass and do nothing with. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because blends are complicated. They are a complicated fix. It's getting it right. It's getting the mix right, and I'm impressed. It's got a lovely nose to it. So you really get the bourbon. That comes through, but you're getting a real spice on the nose.
You are, yeah. I mean, it's the 1%. That's sherry. You would think it's more. Not only obviously by the color, but also the taste. I mean, it's quite sweet at the end as well.
Very. It has, but it's actually got those. It's got those lovely wee peppery notes on the tongue.
Yeah.
And they're kind of falling off the edge of the tongue rather than being like concentrated on the front of the tongue or indeed right in the middle. it's kind of fallen off the edge. It's a lovely kind of wee kind of hint of
It is,
spice,
yeah,
rolling round the mouth.
And it's only 42% as well. So I mean, it's a fantastic. I mean, for that ABV, it's a great smell, it's a great taste, and it's a great mouthfeel as well.
Yeah, very creamy. I wasn't expecting that. I think with so much grain content, I always expect high grain content to give me real high kind of notes that maybe would turn me off, and I'm always critical of blends that kind of lead you into that. But no, I think that the levels are just right. That is it like a kind of. I mean, what kind of virgin recharge? What was it before?
We're not really allowed to say, to be honest.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I mean, we worked for probably 3 or 4 months now. I say we. It was a lot of it to do with the production guys down here. To go through samples, which isn't the worst job in the world. To get that blend that we wanted, and when we put it on the market, people enjoy it when they drink it, and so we decided we're going to go with the virgin, kind of virgin recharge, just because it gives a bit more for a 3-year-old as well. It gives a bit more flavor. Yes, all right, it's a wee bit more expensive probably to source that liquid, but I mean, we're being 100% open about what's in it, and I think that's always been our ethos, and it's a fantastic liquid for what it is.
And that's what you need as well. You just need that bit of honesty, don't you? I think we're all looking for integrity and honesty, transparency. That's what we're looking for. No, I really enjoyed that, and that's good. And this is coming to the market soon enough.
It is, yeah. We're hoping, fingers crossed, and if it all goes smoothly, middle of April to end of April probably. It might be delayed, as with everything these days, but fingers crossed, it'll be available middle to end of April across Northern Ireland, down south as well, and online as well. So hopefully everyone across the globe can enjoy it if they so desire.
Good. Somebody's obviously mentioned already about the Copeland gin, the aged Copeland gin. Now, we did a gin tasting there at Christmas time, just as a part of the mini series,
yep.
And it went down really well. It's lovely, and that I think it's inspirational. To have an aged or a barrel aged, cask aged gin. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, we always wanted to do a Navy strength gin, obviously being a distillery that is, as you know, right on the edge of the harbour. We wanted to do something that could commemorate that, and but we also wanted to put our own kind of twist on it, and about what we're passionate about in here, but also what we can do in here. Where you've been to our distillery, it's behind me, which I'll show everyone who hasn't seen it. We are limited to what we can do, so we wanted to create, a world-class Navy strength gin, and last year it got voted one of the best Navy strength gins in Ireland, and I think we put it into first filled bourbon barrels for 9 months, and then finished it in a quarter sherry barrel as well, which financially, when you're trying to draw out these figures and it's along the gin market, it's a push. It's a £45 bottle of gin. It's a fantastic liquid, but it's also a £45 bottle of gin.
It's a whiskey gin. So
and that's it exactly.
The colour of it is deep amber. It's got a beautiful colour to it, and it's for those that don't drink gin, maybe they drink whiskey. It's a lovely wee approach into gin. And for those that don't drink whiskey, I think going backwards, maybe as a gin drinker, it's an approach into to whiskey. It definitely gives off that vibe. It's actually quite smart. So it's a super smart thinking.
Yeah, I mean,
from yourselves.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, we kind of looked at what barrel aged gins were on the market across the UK, across Europe, bought in a lot, and realized when we kind of looked into it, a lot of barrel aged gins, because they were going into the barrel at 70% odd, they were coming out and then they're being cut back with water, and whenever you're releasing a gin at 57+%, that's sharp. That is very sharp. So we, instead of cutting it back with water to bring the ABV down, we cut it back with more gin. So we always wanted to push that gin front, but we also at the same time wanted to have a lot of that bourbon and whiskey taste in the background. And I think that's definitely what we've created down here. And no, it's a fantastic gin. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Listen, as I say, we tested it. It was up against another 8 different gins, and it fared very well. There's no doubt that. In fact, the gins that we tasted in the main, they were all from in and around Northern Ireland. And listen, it's miles better than some of them, which you should take you should take pride in that. Also, your rums, and we'll talk about these rums for a second as well. So we've had I think a lot of people would be, if we're talking about Copeland in the past, a lot of people would have focused in on gin.
Yep.
And we've had a step change away from that. We've had some rum recently, and again, I was lucky enough. We've had both your, both your rums, and again, really nice to see a change in something to the consumer here in Northern Ireland. Rum from Northern Ireland, again, probably not heard of until yourselves and a couple of others maybe started to look at that. So, smart thinking.
Yeah, I mean, we've always wanted to produce a rum. We've always wanted to release a rum, and I think we released 3 rums last year in the space of 3 months. In October the 3rd, we released 2 straight off the markers, and they've been fantastic. One's an everyday drinker, it's our Smuggler's Reserve series. Not to copyright Brendan, but we're trying to do a rum series, and we've kind of gone from every level. We've gone from an everyday drinker, which is a 40% alcohol, which is 90% finished in bourbon casks and 10% in Pinot Noir, to our, which is $29.99 retail. So it's a good price point. It's a great mixing rum. We've got our premium, which is our overproof, which is the equivalent, I suppose, to our Navy strength gin. We've got a Navy strength rum, so an overproof rum, so 57.2%, which is 50% bourbon and 50% Pinot Noir. And then, of course, I think you were lucky enough to get a bottle of our also sherry cask rum, which was a 100-bottle run. It was a super premium, probably at $89.99 retail, and it's sold out within, I think, an hour or so for a rum.
Sold out. No offense, but just because of the color of the bottle.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, the amount of effort. I mean, I always laugh. People are like, the amount of effort and time that went into it. But people are always like, oh, why was it $89.99? It's like, well, we used a sherry firkin, which in itself is fairly expensive, but we only printed 100 labels. So when you start to break it down, people are nodding their head, and whenever then they try the liquid, if they have, I mean, there's only 100 bottles produced, and I know a few people who have saved it, and I think it definitely it shouts what we're about.
Well, we got it out to about 40. I think we got it out to about 14 people, for a tasting, and I think there was not a bad word said about it. So, look, gin, rum, I believe. I mean, I don't know if it's been talked about. I'm allowed to talk about the P word.
It's a P word. Oh yes, work away, no problem.
Well, you tell me. So we've got gin, we've got rum. We're going to talk about whiskey in a second, but we've got a P word. You can talk about the P word.
P word of poaching. Poaching for us. Poaching for us doesn't mean an imminent release. It doesn't mean something that we've always planned. Poaching. We're producing a poaching. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say what it's called, but we're producing a poaching for a customer of ours in Boston, in Boston, Massachusetts. And have you tried it, Paul? No. It's fantastic. I mean, it's an Irish poaching with a American kind of twist on it. The customer of ours wanted a fairly sweet poaching, so we've had to play around with certain different ingredients and molasses, and we've come to a fairly, in my opinion, it's up there with some of the best poachings on the market. It's releasing solely for the client in America within the next 3 to 4 months, and it's exciting. It's a fantastic liquid. Hats off to Mark and Will. It's fantastic down here. So
good.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
I just think that's I'm just tapping into that diversity of the distillery. this is diverse. You know, we've got the gin, we've got the rum, we've got the poaching, and then we've got all this whiskey. So that we just had there, that beautiful blend, that's sourced. And we know about that, and you're being very honest. GND are super people at the moment, and they're helping out lots of young distilleries. But the other two products I have in front of me are your own stuff. This is stuff which is, you know, in the pipeline. Now, I think I'll look at the. Let's have a look. I'll look at the double distilled peated, I think, first.
Yeah, let me see.
All right.
Yeah, what number of? There we go. So I've been in the office all day, and Will's very kindly written me a list to make sure I remember what.
So yeah, so I've got the double distilled peated. This is coming from the double distilled single malt, and it's 01 I have here, and it comes in at mash bill. It's the so you've got the peated ppm on it, which is 55.
Yep.
So he's actually given me that information. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, we ran this. If anyone,
Jesus, bye. There's the peat there.
Kind of hits you.
There ain't no hiding the peat.
No, not at all. I mean, we went heavy on this. If anyone was in the cafe for 6 weeks in January and you didn't like peat or you didn't like whiskey, I do apologize. It was the first thing that hit you on the way in. It kind of absorbed into our clothes for 6 weeks, and I quite enjoyed it. My other half didn't, and neither did my dog. But it's fantastic. I mean, I'll let you explain. I mean, I'm surrounded by these liquids every day. But what do you think of that? It's very heavy on the peat.
Yeah, but very malty.
Very malty, yeah.
Very malty on the nose. Lots of biscuit note there.
It is, yeah.
It's really, really nice. But yes, oh my God, it's great to have that peat.
Yeah.
You know, it's something we're not used to. We're starting to get there. You know, we're starting to get, you know, this idea of Irish whiskey can be peated. You know, we've had Irish whiskey on tap with Connemara peated, but people, other than people like myself, not that many people would have gone and said, "Listen, give me all the Connemara under the sun." They weren't really that interested. There's been a narrative in Irish whiskey to talk about triple distilled, smooth, excellent whiskey, pot still whiskey. We don't talk about peated whiskey. So the conversation is changing big time. Big change in conversation. And for you guys to, again, be a little bit more innovative, let's have a look at what, you know, we can do. Listen, on the smell and, you know, alone is just mind-blowing. We're getting that.
Well,
lovely biscuit, kind of oatmeal, kind of porridgey kind of note coming on.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the biscuit on it is just fantastic. And I was about to say it, but this is the same liquid that's going into the cask that we're giving away as well.
No way.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
So anyone has the apple, you know, because it's a pretty simple competition. I think you just like sharing, and that's it. You know, we didn't ask you to write a book, or take pictures, or do some really random stuff. We're pretty simple, and they're going to get this.
We don't need to. Yeah, we don't need to. We filled up a number of casks, and you know, we had about 6 or 7 liters kind of kicking around, and kind of thought, you know what, let's give that away, because not only
they're going to get this in a cask.
They're going to get that in the cask. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, listen, this is good stuff. This is really good stuff. And
I mean, I would say
who's to blame? Who can we blame for this? Whose mad idea was it to go crazy Pete?
I'll give you one guess.
Wee Man Willie.
We five. I don't know if he's watching, but yes,
no, I just seen his name popped up. He said best liquid in the lineup, but like he's
sorry, yes. No, like hands down, I think it's probably the best liquid we've produced. Yeah, you're right. No, not enough people are doing peated Irish whiskey, and I know there's a few smaller guys doing it. But there's nothing that I know of that's been released. There's one that's been released soon. But no, it's fantastic liquid. You know,
I mean, we know this is not whiskey yet. You know, look at the colour of it. You know, we've not been in the cask, yeah, and 3 years away. Unfortunately, I would want this now, and that's how good a new make it is, because it's telling me drink now. This is like Alice in Wonderland stuff. It's like drink me, and I'll make you better. I'll make you smaller or bigger. This is magical. This is magical juice. No,
it'll be a big part of Belfast Whiskey Week. You know, for one of our releases, definitely, because it's fantastic. I mean, we've put it into a bourbon firkin as well, blood tub, which is going to be part of our longer term plans for releases until our whiskey is of age to release. So, which I'll chat about later in a bit. But no, it's fantastic.
Do you know, it's funnily enough, this is nearly. I mean, we're double distilled, aren't we? There's something about this, and a nod to those Islay whiskies.
Yep. No, that's it. I mean, we're probably
there's a nod there.
If we didn't have 2 pubs and a restaurant and a bookies in front of us, in terms of on the site,
the actual visual line,
our visual line would put us, and if you saw us walking down Islay, you wouldn't blink an eye, really. We kind of wanted to nod that. And give them that kind of Irish nod as such, and that's because we're sitting on the harbour straight across.
there's no word of a lie. I mean,
we'll send you some more of that.
Good.
If anyone in the comments fancies some,
listen,
it's fantastic. No
one's allowed it. Here, hold on. I want it all. This is the fact that it's been given away is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, look, let's just touch on where we are. So there's maybe a lot of people will tune into this, and like for all of these little mini series that we've done so far, I've had well over 1,000 views per recording, and it's been lovely. But there's a lot of people who are listening in from different parts of the world. We've had people who get involved in Whiskey Week are in Mexico, Argentina, Singapore, and it's the same for the audience. They are the same people. There are people who are tuning in just to get a wee glimmer, a wee snapshot of what's going on. So we've got beautiful people from the likes of their Shamini over in Norway, people in Germany, people from all over. And one thing that we need to know where it is. So people can imagine Northern Ireland.
Yep.
And if people imagine Northern Ireland, we are on the very kind of west tip of Northern Ireland. This is where we're at. Yeah. So we go from Belfast and we head on out to Newtownards, and we head on just out then towards the far end of the peninsula, out to Donegal. Yes.
That's right.
That's where we're at. We're not at the end of the peninsula, but the other kind of side of the peninsula. And at that point, you're down on the harbour. You're just off. You're just off the harbour. You can see the harbour from your front door. It's beautiful down there. And I've been very lucky. We're just joking off air. When I go down, it's sunny. It's and it's lovely. But you've got a clear line of vision to Scotland. It's one of the shortest crossing points to Scotland. It's there's been a lot of heritage there. I think Copeland. We've talked in the past about this heritage that you have of smuggling in, and really good use of the terminology for the rum, but smuggling in whiskey into that part of Ireland. That you've definitely got that legacy there already.
Yeah.
But I want people to visualize that. I want people to get in their minds where you are, because it's actually a very, very, very picturesque place, but it's very handy. When we get a chance to go and visit, it's handy enough from Belfast.
No, it is. I mean, we opened for tours in September, I think. No, maybe we before that. I'll tell a lie completely. We opened for tours in about April, way off, and we had over 1,000 people coming from all over the country. Whenever people phone us up and they're like, "Well, where are you? Where's Donegal?" We're 20 minutes from Belfast. I think everything's 20 minutes from Belfast when you're trying to explain it to someone west of the Ban. But we are. We're 20 minutes down the road, and we're like 30 or 40 meters right from the seafront. I mean, whenever the wind's howling and the waves are crashing up, I mean, they are crashing onto the road before us, and it's a fantastic place to work. There's without a doubt, it's probably one of the best spots for a distillery. I obviously would say that, but in my opinion, from a sunny day, where else can you walk a 30-second walk and you're in the pub, which next window looks and sees Patrick on. But yeah, you're right about the smuggling. I mean, obviously we're named after the Copeland Islands, which are 10 minutes on a boat that way as such, and there's a huge history of smuggling spirits, tobacco, and wares across through the Copeland Islands and into Donegal, which is the biggest smuggling port in Ireland at one stage. And we've kind of really grasped and taken hold of that history and that rich heritage, and we've built The distillery we're in was built in 1915. The original wall you can see behind us when I moved here. It was surrounded by a bottling factory, in a bit of a U shape and a horse's foot as such. And when the bottling factory burnt down, it turned into a Regal Cinema. After the Regal Cinema, it turned into a community centre. And then we got hold of it when it lay derelict for about 15, 16 years. We ripped down the roof and we were left with this fantastic backdrop, which I'll show you now. But the wall at the very back where our two main whiskey stills are is the original wall from 1915. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's a lot of pallets down there. But
cast pallets, and then we've got the two stills there. Yeah,
got two stills, and then kind of around the corner you can see our third still there. Oh, where are you?
Yep, just yeah.
Sorry, we've stuff going out to Australia, so we're a bit jammed at the minute, but
it's a busy place. It's a busy place, Gareth, isn't it?
Five fermenters, mash tun, and a hot liquor tank. Yeah, it's a busy place, small but efficient, and 100% authentic, without a shadow of a doubt. And that's what we instill in kind of our staff and what we do in here, and it's definitely what we instill in our spirits. So there's that rich heritage and history, and that's what we want to do and release going forward from being completely authentic. I mean, we're writing on the label exactly what is in this blend, and we will for the foreseeable.
You have people here threatening you, saying they're going to come down for a sample tomorrow. Graham Horner's good crack. He's coming down there tomorrow, and also likes of Al Copeland. Fair play to him. He's based over in Yorkshire.
Al Copeland, one of his he owns a cask here actually.
Does he? Well, there you go.
I see James Doherty's on as well. We'll swap you for some of our double distilled peated. I'd love to, James. Hand it on, James. James is a good lad. We were stuck beside each other in where was it? Bar Covent, Berlin last year or 2 years ago when you could travel.
When you could go.
Here,
let's talk about that cast program just for a second, because I think you know what, there's a lovely wee story behind that. So the cast story, it's cast 125 program, yeah, and there's a story behind that.
There is, yeah. So I suppose there's two stories. The 125 program, we don't really advertise it. I think as much as it's our video on the top of our Facebook page, we don't really advertise it. We were looking, I suppose this is 2019, March 2019, when we were building this place. We hit another road bump as such, in terms of funding a few things. So we decided we were going to celebrate they're signing a 125-year lease with the council for our current building. So they have a freehold on this for 125 years. We pay a pound every so often to them for it. So we don't build a hotel effectively. And so we signed a 125-year lease with the council and to celebrate that, we released 125 casks locally. We did a bit of advertising for it, but we never relied on it and we never pushed it down people's throats. And a lot of the casks around here are owned by people who know people as well. So I mean, just directly behind me, you've got these four quarter sherry cask here. This one here is owned by a guy called I'll not say his first name, Commander Hill. He's a commander in not the RAF, but in Aer Lingus. You've got in the middle, you've got two best friends who are also business partners, and on the end, you've got a big Tim who works for me. His family bought a cask, and they all came down and filled it, had the crack. We wanted, I mean, we don't really advertise it for a couple of reasons. We wanted 125 people that we knew. Every single one of them I've met or had a conversation like this with. We wanted 125 names on the wall as well, which is in the cafe just over here. You can kind of see up there, you can see some casks on the wall.
Yeah.
We want 125 names that will go underneath all those casks. That people could walk in and see. So we've got businesses, we've got pubs, we've got, Pier 36 down here, we've got various other ones, Biddle's Bar, John bought one as well. But we wanted to create a community that, whenever things lift and our warehouse is built, we can have a massive barbecue. It's completely free for people who own cask. They can come down and just interact as a bit of a community, and not only see what we're doing and have first dibs on what we're doing, more so from an R&D perspective, and kind of have our, effectively stakeholders, but not all rely on us for that next kind of investment kick. That I
was going to say what it's not, Gareth, and what I don't get from it is it's not an investment specific, and it's never been pushed as invest in Copeland, invest in these casks, invest in Irish whiskey, you become a millionaire. Do you know and do you know what, we have seen that there's a lot of people out there, whether or not they know what they're doing, I'm not too sure, but there's a lot of people out there making people purchase casks. There's a lot of people promising the world, and actually a program like yourself, which is offering, and listen, I know a lot of those guys' names that we're rattling off there, that people who specifically are local to you and who are putting an effort in to support you locally. That's been really good. It's very refreshing, actually, rather than it being, this is an investment opportunity, come and buy your Irish whiskey. Get involved with Copeland Distillery and support the distillery and support what's going on there, rather than thinking about your bank balance in 10, 20 years' time. Let's think about what's been produced. I've just talked about that peated malt, which is unbelievable. I'm going to just pour just now, because I'm conscious of time. I want to pour this other one, the double distilled chocolate malt. Double distilled chocolate malt. That's chocolate Maltesers. That's chocolate dairy milk. It's chocolate whatever. I don't care, but it's chocolate malt.
Well, these are some of the new mix that are going into people's casks, and no, you're right. I mean, we never push, as much as we will buy the cask off in X years, but we don't promise, 30 or 40 grand. And I think that's we invite people down to come down and fill them and see the place. I mean, as soon as someone comes, or when people come down and, out of this coronavirus lockdown, we put on a cab for them to go home. I think, or we'll give them a lift, just because we want people to come down and enjoy themselves, and rather than just buy a cask and be a number on a wall. So, but yeah, some of these liquids, double distilled heavily, peanut malt, chocolate malt, they're all part of our
double distilled chocolate malt. I mean, Gareth, you can't write it.
Let me just get it here for you.
It's just, but it literally does smell of chocolate. It's not even like a joke.
It's insane. I mean, that was
make this up.
That was put into an Oz Tyler cask, actually, so bourbon, on the 1st of May 2020. So that is not even a year old. There's a tiny bit of color in it.
Tiny bit of color. Yeah, we've got a tiny. Actually, it looks more colorful in the bottle. So yeah, there's there's definitely color actually in the bottle itself. A little bit more color, and yeah.
I'm actually just realizing this was actually brought, so it was put in the cask 1st of May 2020 and it was pulled out on 19th of October. So this was actually one of the samples from Will's very large and locked cupboard. So it's not even, it's May, June.
He was being nice to me.
6 months old. That's 6 months old.
6 months, but just the smell is just great. It is chocolate.
It's fantastic.
It's just so unique. I mean, who the heck? Right, tell me this and answer me this. Who else is using chocolate malt in Ireland?
I don't know. No one really tells me anything, do they? I mean,
I don't know anyone.
We're coming on here and saying we're going to release double distilled peated malt and double distilled chocolate malt. Who's next to call out what they're doing?
Call them here, Gareth. Call them all out.
Call them all out.
Fighting to call
no. I mean,
they're all. Tell you what, they've all got big kahunas when they want to have them.
No, I don't know. That's. I mean, this is something. I mean, this is what's gone into our first cask. So we laid our first cask down on the 3rd of November 2019, which was our 3rd birthday. So, that we have a bit of chocolate malt, which went to our first cask. But I think that was more. I'm a big fan of chocolate malt down here, so it kind of it leads into us wanting to do it more, a bit like Will and his peated malt. I'm a big fan of chocolate malt, and even the smell, when it's only 10% of the mash bill is the chocolate malt, so it's not overpowering and it's not a load of sweetness. I mean,
there's lovely kind of tin fruit in there, like a really kind of, it's like lychee or something. It's like a really kind of really syrupy kind of fruit in there, which is really nice. And it's not over. It's definitely not overpowering, but
Oh no, I mean that's
you know what, that's really 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 nice. Again, got a lovely creaminess to it.
it does, yeah.
For
I mean,
such a young spirit, a couple of months old, it's
it's obviously still got a lot of heat in it. It's sitting at 63%, but
well, I mean the heat's great. Everyone likes a bit of heat, but it's very Moorish even at this stage. You know what I mean?
it is. No, I mean it's
just wafting it back and forth gives you that here. I've got a sweet tooth and I absolutely love my chocolate. So there's that. Finding those kind of notes is just
great. No, it's fantastic. It really is. I mean, it's some of the exciting stuff we've got planned, and we have some fantastic casks here, like Ruby Port, Moscatel, and Madeira, things like that we've put both these liquids in, which will be part of a bigger series down the line. And I think we always wanted to be a bit more exciting and innovative. I mean, because of how this business is structured, we can kind of have a bit of free reign, and as long as it makes sense, but we can have a bit of free reign and play with different mash bills and different expressions and things like that.
There's a lovely spice on that.
Yeah.
It's a lovely spice. And unlike earlier on, I was talking about that spice moving around the kind of edges of my tongue. That one actually wanted to get on board and start attacking. Had a lovely spice, that it really was.
Kind of bounces, doesn't it? Kind of bounces from tongue to top.
Yep, it was. It was. It's very vibrant. You know what I mean? It's a vibrant spiciness. Really enjoyed that. So, fair play to what's going on. Fair play to the actual spirits. They're going to stand up. I think, Gareth, that's important that these are going to stand up. But I've been having this conversation about, all of these distilleries we have in County Down. Even we don't even need to talk about Northern Ireland. In County Down, it's distillery after distillery after distillery after distillery, and it's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to start watching. There's not an ugly distillery. They're all beautiful. They're all actually very pretty, and what I don't want, and I've been saying to a lot of people, is these distilleries are not competitors. These distilleries are, and they can't be competitors. They're all uniquely sized. They're not the same size. They're not doing the exact same production runs. They're all doing something, some unique production runs. Really, if we're gonna be honest about it. So you're not competitors. In fact, you're the opposite. You are allowing people locally, specifically, to have a multiple choice of different types of whiskey to become accustomed to, and that to me is very important. Do you know what I mean? That we have a multiple choice here. I mean, I'm not going to pick on other distilleries in other countries or other parts of the country, but let's be honest. Sometimes we just get to a point where sometimes it's a wee bit samey, and we've known for a long time that because of brands having to source liquid, that we've become accustomed to a level of whiskey and a variation of whiskey which is the same here as it is drunk in America, or is drunk in Asia, or is drunk in Australia, because that's Irish whiskey and that's where it's been put. And, in Europe it's been a flatbed of beautiful coulis and beautiful Bushmills and indeed the pot stills from IDL. But now we're getting something completely different. Now we're getting all these beautiful new mash bills that are coming through, which are breaking down boundaries. I mean, I know that people are being begging for technical files to be changed. Interesting, and to be honest, these are compliant. These are compliant mash bills.
Yeah,
they're so much different. They're so different to what's on the market just now. The taste is completely different to what we have been used to. So I'm a massive fan. People who know me, massive fan of Bushmills, massive fan of Cooley. Both those spirits are just unreal, And again, I'll shout all day long about a Redbreast, but to see this new stuff, this is what it's about. This is what Irish whiskey is about. This is diversity. This is I know that Waterford have been making a song and a dance about terroir. That's great, super duper. I'm all for a conversation about that, but I'm also for a conversation about each one of these distilleries we have in County Down producing something unique.
They are, no, I think
different.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I could pick up the phone to Brendan, to Shane, and we could all have a good conversation. We could all run with the same mash bill, and they're all going to be completely different. It's all to do, obviously, from different cuts and noses, and that's kind of what excites us, and that's what excites the industry. And I think Bushmills, Cooley, G&D, Teeling, they've all been around for a while, but there's this excitement. James is in the comments there. I don't know if he's still on, from Steve League, and I know he's got some fantastic plans, and I'm excited to see what he's coming out with. And I think
PT stuff.
Just heavily PT stuff. I think what the industry needed was all these young players to come in and kind of excited, and you've kind of seen it, influence what even the older fellas have done as well. I mean, they've kind of Bushmill, as you mentioned there, you've finally seen that they've kind of realized that you need to innovate and release something exciting, and everyone's losing their mind now over it and trying to collect it.
Losing their shite. They have lost it. They have lost the plot, Gareth. People are going mental, which don't get me wrong, as a Bushmills fanatic, I'm super impressed that the whole world has now clicked onto Bushmills. But they are a big player, and they are a massive Bushmills. Are a massive part of Irish heritage, Irish whiskey heritage, Irish legacy, whiskey legacy. They've got all of that, and they still have the opportunity to do millions of different expressions based on the quantity of alcohol that they have and the reach that they have. What's way more important is the fact that they have managed to keep it going for so long, hundreds of years. And Cooley came in and made Irish whiskey accessible to the masses in Europe, specifically directly at a cheap cost. And IDL have carried the flag for an age of pot still, a new age of pot still, for a long time now.
Yeah.
But all these younger distilleries that are just starting to lay down foundations, get those lovely casks and get the new makes on the go, and start start making something which again is now history in its making. Like, I'm very privileged to have these liquids in front of me to taste them, because it's eye opening for me. What's interesting as well is that you're going to give away some of that spirit. There's a great wee competition that's on both Instagram accounts. You can go and have a wee look there. But I would say, if you want to try this and you're going to have your wee cask and you can, mature it yourself, wow, great opportunity. And those that don't get it, they can buy them. So there's a couple of quick questions and people are asking. The likes of John, he was asking, can you buy them? Graham, can you buy them? Yes, you can buy the casks. You can buy them down at down at the distillery. And here, Gareth, a wee plug. Where did you get the cask from? Who was the supplier?
John
Daly. I think I saw him in the comments. So John Daly, that's Whiskeycraft IE.
Whiskeycraft, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely brilliant. So
at the very start, I think. Yeah, no, I mean, they're fantastic. Here it is here, actually. Tiny wee, class wee cask.
They are. Wee 2 litre Hungarian. Are they the Hungarian ones?
It's the Hungarian ones, yeah. So
Hungarian oak. So yeah. Listen, really impressed. Really impressed with them. And listen, I'm excited about Belfast Whiskey Week. I hope you are. And what?
Oh yeah, massively.
I'm trying to appease a lot of people, because a lot of people are asking lots of things. They want lots of things in the festival, and I'm saying, listen, do you know what? At the moment, we're going ahead. We're broadcasting everything, but we're also going to be in venues. So we're going to be broadcasting from venues within Belfast, and we're going to make it as accessible as possible, whatever those rules are. And well done to the government for coming out with some rules. No dates yet, but once we get some dates, we'll see a better picture. But listen, we want everyone involved. And that means the distilleries, but we also want people to get involved. We want them to come on board. So, is there anything in your head? Because someone asked, can we have that chocolate malt at the festival? But I'm sure there'll be something you can bring to the festival. I think that we had an earlier conversation with William about something, maybe a wee special bottling or something. I'm not sure.
We have a few things. I mean, from a double distilled chocolate malt to a double distilled pot still as well. There'll be a few exciting. But that peated will be a big part of it too. Definitely. If we don't give it away by then. It's sitting in a stainless steel vat, and it just gets better and better and better. And yeah, no, we've got a few wee plans, and we're looking forward to Belfast Whiskey Week, and whether that be online or not, we'll make it work. So,
well, listen, we will 100% make it work. Is it, Gareth? These are very short-lived conversations. Is there anything you want to say to people while they're here? know what I mean? They're going to hear this message again when they replay it.
No, not really. I mean, we have a couple of releases coming up on. They'll be online. They'll be in shops. I saw a question there. When's the blend being released, or what's the retail on it? So yeah, blend will be end of April. Retail will be £35, probably in or around that.
That's good.
So we want people to enjoy it and drink it. So and then with a few wee other things being released throughout the year. We've a Class Firkin series that's been lined up as well.
Okay.
A bit of double distilled and a bit of double distilled peated, double distilled pot, and that's all I'm saying on that. So no, keep your eyes peeled. Get part of that competition with Paul and Belfast Whiskey Week, and you'll smash it. And some lucky duck is going to get that 2 liters of heavily peated malt. Cream.
I know, and I think I agreed. I agreed with Tim. We'll let that run, and what we'll do on Monday. I think we're going to let it run until Monday. And then on Monday, I will announce it when I'm back on here for the Sláinte series. I'll announce it again, the winner. I think that'll be the best way to do it, and it'll just be it'll be very fair to do it like that. Listen, I've had a lovely evening, Gareth. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
I'm genuinely excited about what's going to go on at the distillery, and I'm looking forward to it this year. So, listen, Sláinte.
Sláinte.
We'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, Paul. Have a good night.
You too.